The most important book you will ever teach your child is the Bible. Sadly, in our culture, most children don't know the Bible anymore, and that was not true historically. In fact, it was even taught in the public schools. So we have lost this wonderful tradition of all the character building and the beauty and the meaning to life that we can find in the Bible. And the scriptures say that heaven and earth will pass away, but the Bible will still stand. It will last forever. So it's a wonderful endeavor to train your child up in a love of the Bible. If you were a child, would you want to see this Bible? It's even in big print. Would you want to see this huge thing? Or would you want to see the Bible like this? To create a love of the Bible, you have to grab your child's emotions over Scripture. You know, sadly, we have increased our speed, but we've lost our way in our culture. Children and families are involved in lots of activities, and they know the how of life, but they don't know the why anymore. Many children in high school have suicidal thoughts and have depression because they don't know why they are alive and what is the purpose to life. So if you train them up in the Bible, you give them that gift of a context in which to live life. And when things don't go well, you give them a place to go to get comfort and to get meaning, even in those difficult hours and chapters. Okay, so you have to grab your child's emotions by an easy version first. So what I view this as is stringing a clothesline. Okay, so their first exposure to the Bible is like setting up a clothesline. You want them to love it. You want them to know that it exists. And then, as they grow older, you'll get harder and harder versions. But at first, you want them to know it's like putting clothespins on their clothesline. You want them to know the key people and the key events and the key places. In other words, you want to give them an overview of Scripture. And then, as they get older, they'll tack on little details between these major events, people, and places. And then finally, when they're older, they will begin to understand the great depths of meaning in the Bible, and that adds luster to those individual facts. They will learn how to apply those facts to their life and to garner meaning from them. So you want to start just giving them a great overview of Scripture, that they're familiar with these people, places, and events. You know, if you go out and talk to children on the street and you ask them who was King David or King Saul, or you ask them who was Abraham, they have no idea anymore because we're living in a post-Christian world. So securing a knowledge of the Bible is a wonderful gift to them. So I'm going to give you some titles and some Bibles that have done a really good job of this. One of them is called the Child's Story Bible, and it's by Catherine Voss. If you have a neighbor or a relative that has this edition, or you can get it used, it's a wonderful place to start. It's a good one. Another one is put out by Egermeyer, and it's very, very old. Egermeyer's Bible Story Book. That's another good version that's a paraphrase and is read like a story. The Catherine Voss one is more exciting if you have a choice between the two. It was written for school systems in the 1800s. Now, if your child is a junior higher, the Picture Bible is an excellent Bible to get him started in. It's full of cartoon-like figures, but they are real-life figures. They're not like Superman or Batman, Superman. They're real-life pictures with little ellipses where what the person says comes out of it. And I've seen this grip junior high children and 5th and 6th graders. They just love this version of the Bible. Now, if you have lots of money or have a protracted time with a child, they're your own child, the Bible Story by Arthur Maxwell is an excellent edition. It has 10 volumes. It's a big thing. I knew a family that went through it 8 times. The father read it to the children from Genesis to Revelation 8 times, and the children all ended up loving the Bible because this was their first introduction to it. And as a companion to that, you can also have your children read Arthur Maxwell's bedtime stories. And we in our family used to do one Bible story and one bedtime story every night, both written by Uncle Arthur or Arthur Maxwell. Absolutely superb ways to train your children's character and to get them to love the Bible. He was a master storyteller. You can get these used online, any of these books online used. And for the very little children, I would begin with My Bible Friends. It's 5 volumes, and it's written by Etta, Degering. And I want to show you the size of the pictures in this book. They're very, very large and winsome. So while you're droning on with the text, the child is enraptured with the nice, beautiful color of these wonderful books. So this is a good first step, and then Arthur Maxwell's The Bible Story is a good second step. There's 5 of these in this little series. Now, if you want to get through the Bible in a hurry and don't have time for 10 volumes, you can get the Golden Children's Bible. I have searched and searched all kinds of children's Bibles, and this is the apex for a short 1-volume series. It's the Golden Children's Bible. And again, while you're droning on with the text, it has a picture on every page. Now, usually when you get these and they're used, they're old, it's been around for decades, the book flops shut and it's way too heavy. So what you can do is cut the book apart and take it to Office Depot and have them put a spiral binding on it. And that way when you read it, it's not heavy. You do one for the New Testament and break the Old Testament into 2 books. So you end up with 3 volumes of the Golden Bible. But it's wonderful for both the text and the pictures. Now, if you are working with a neighbor's child or a visiting grandchild, or working with a child who's troubled, and you only have a week with them, then you have to go even smaller text and bigger picture. This is the Children's Discovery Bible. And you just try to get them exposed to the Bible as quickly as you can. Okay, so you're going to start with easy versions and work them all the way up to perhaps the New King James Version over their lifetime, and you will see they will take hold with their own love of the Bible and their own devotions. If you only depend on dad's leading devotions, or sadly in most homes there's no Bible training going on, when your child leaves home, they'll have no anchor. But if you've trained them to have their own devotions in their own Bible throughout the years, all 18 years, you will have a child who's in love with God and in love with Scripture by the time they graduate.